Welcome back. Just last night, we showed you the launch of Morningside University's brand new aviation program. Tonight, though, we're taking you up into the air.
Yeah, we can't wait. KTIV's Matt Hoffman had the chance to do an exploratory flight. It's the first step for any prospective aviation student.
At some point, each of the Morningside aviation students took a flight like this, lifting off to see if a career in aviation is right for them. Valerie Mejia took her flight on Tuesday, following the footsteps of her father, who's an airline pilot.
He was really shocked about it, but he was more excited and glad that I was following in his footsteps.
Why was he shocked?
Well, he just didn't expect anyone to really want to fly.
Yeah. On our flight, instructor Aaron Diedrichs took us over the Morningside campus, and then he gave me a chance to fly. And for students, that experience will either spark further interest in the program or end it altogether.
And the design is to get them through with a four-year degree at Morningside and ready for the airlines. And so they'll go straight to the airlines from Morningside University and our flight training.
Mejia successfully landed after an hour-long instructional flight. By her junior or senior year, she'll become an instructor herself and then teach new students in order to gain flight hours.
Well, I'm glad to be a part of it and get to help other people, be able to get to their dreams of being in the airlines or being a pilot.
Back on the ground in Sioux City, Matt Hoffman, KTIV News 4.
And as we mentioned, Tuesday was the very first flight in the program's history. Right now, there are 11 students taking part, but Morningside hopes to expand to as many as 60 students by next year.